Hello everyone, my name is Jules Prime, and today I have a pretty interesting video about the Archie Sonic comics. More specifically, something that occurred in issue 2 of the 4-part Archie miniseries. You see, back in the earlier days of Archie, they actually had these skits that were in between stories. You see, these skits were basically an early version of what would later become Off-Panel. And one of these skits actually said, here's the top 10 reasons why Sonic the Hedgehog is the coolest comic book around. So I thought it'd be a fun video idea to see how much of these are actually outdated by now. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 10. The Sonic comic requires no batteries. Now, when it comes to this point, you might think that Archie obviously gets the point, right? Well, not exactly. You see, while it's true that comics don't necessarily run on batteries, there's still a case that can be made for this, and that's with the Archie Comics app. The Archie Comics app is an app that allows you to digitally buy and read various Archie comics. This app actually had all 290 issues of the main Sonic the Hedgehog series. Matter of fact, the app actually had some digital exclusive releases. However, these digital exclusives were just previously released issues bundled up together. A matter of fact, they actually wanted you to buy the Archie app, that way you could buy older comics that were no longer being sold in stores. And yes, while it's true that Archie did lose the license to Sonic, and since then the comics have been removed from the app, you still get to keep and read all the issues that you previously purchased. And even with all that being said, you can actually still buy the comics digitally nowadays, and buying them digitally would be the cheaper option, as the older issues have only gone up in price. So I'd say, looking at both sides of the argument, you could say that Archie could run on batteries. So I would say that Archie would probably get half a point since they've kept true to this to some degree. Number 9. The Sonic comic addresses the environment. Now, when it comes to the Sonic comics addressing the environment, I'd say they've actually done a pretty decent job. Matter of fact, they actually address the environment in issue 0 of the comic. You see, one of the plots of issue 0 actually involved there being a leak in Knothole. Now obviously this concerns the team, and they actually decide to leave Knothole to go investigate. And once they go outside, they eventually find out that it was actually the willow trees that were crying. You see, Robotnik had bulldozed several acres of the forest trying to find Knothole, and the trees were crying for their fallen friends. So once Sonic defeated Robotnik, he actually had the idea to plant more trees in order to make them feel better. And of course, this in return actually cheered up the trees and they would stop crying. However, this wouldn't be the only time that the Sonic comics addressed the environment. In the Super Sonic vs. Pepper and Knuckles special, Knuckles actually ends up grabbing a tree by its roots and pushing it towards Sonic to stop him. And when Knuckles did that, he actually loosened the roots of the tree, so Sonic actually picked it up and slammed it against Knuckles. Not long after that, Sally actually showed up to stop Knuckles and Sonic from fighting. Sally even said, "When the landscape starts to suffer, I step in," showing that she does care about the environment. And a more relevant case of them addressing the environment actually came in issue 261 of the Archie comics. In that issue, Sally, Tails, Nicole, and Antoine actually go looking for a castle within Eggman's mine. And once they got past the security door, they actually found this cave covered in a bunch of crystals. So the original plan was to get in, grab the Chaos Emerald, and leave before being noticed. This means that Eggman would continue looking in the mine for the Chaos Emerald that's no longer there. This ultimately would have costed Eggman time and resources while the Freedom Fighters try to find the other Chaos Emeralds. However, once they get the Chaos Emerald, they decide to get caught on purpose because they didn't want Eggman to tear this place apart looking for the Chaos Emerald. So I'd say that Archie definitely deserves this point, as they've done a pretty good job of addressing the environment. Number 8. Sonic the Hedgehog is blue, so he matches most of your wardrobe. So there's not much I can really say against this point. Blue does match most of my wardrobe, and even if it doesn't match most of your wardrobe, there's no way I'd know that. And personally, I think that blue would match the majority of anyone's wardrobe, so again, there's not much of an argument that I can make here, so I guess I gotta move on. Number 7. The Sonic comic has no villains who are mutants. Now I'm gonna have to say that that really is not the case. Over 10,000 years ago in the Archie continuity, there was actually an alien invasion, and they would end up nuking the Earth with something called the Gene Bombs. You see, the Gene Bombs were actually made to wipe out all the humans on the Earth, and they almost succeeded. However, some of the humans would end up surviving, and they actually formed a city in the mountain called Station Square. And once life started back up on the outside, there would actually be these creatures similar to humans called the Overlanders. Overlanders are actually very similar to humans, except they're usually born with 4 fingers instead of 5. Overlanders would actually end up also having different color hair that humans are not typically born with. I actually find it kind of funny that in this panel, Robotnik is actually saying, "Don't be too sure," and he himself actually ends up being a mutant. Well, humans were the only thing affected by the Gene Bombs, as animal and human DNA would come together to make the Mobians. And this comic definitely has a bunch of villains who are Mobians. However, I'd like to direct your attention to Aces Nagus. For those of you who don't know, Aces Nagus is actually a fusion of 3 different animals, so he's actually 3 times the mutant. Also, throughout the comic, Aces Nagus would actually undergo multiple mutations as the comic went on, so I would say that he's actually the definitive mutant villain of the comic. Number 6. nor does this title rely on guest stars to help boost sales. And this is another wrong statement, as this comic book series has done various crossovers. These crossovers are Sonic meeting the heroes of Image Comics, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Mega Man and Worlds Collide, and Mega Man again along with Mega Man X among other heroes in Worlds Unite. And if you actually go back to Mega Man Worlds Collide, you can actually see that they actually wanted this thing to sell really well. In both the Sonic and Mega Man comics, they actually had a public service announcement. This public service announcement actually told you to spread the word of the Sonic and Mega Man crossover to anyone that you know. It even had this little oath that you can take. I, insert name here, do solemnly swear to spread the word of the Sonic/Mega Man crossover until everyone in the entire world knows of the awesomeness that is Worlds Collide, or until Dr. Eggman and Dr. Wily take over the world with their dastardly schemes and outlaw reading. And as an added bonus, you can actually get the Sonic Heroes Brigade badge or Light Brigade badge depending on if you're a Mega Man fan or not. They actually did end up doing this public service announcement again in Worlds Unite, however it didn't come with the oath or the badge this time. But it does have multiple heroes from both Sega and Capcom coming together, so that's pretty cool I guess. So at the end of it, I would say that these crossovers were primarily done to help boost sales of both franchises. Number 5. The Sonic comic has a foxy female lead character who wears an unusual two-piece outfit. Now I like to start this off by saying Sally is not a fox. Now, addressing the matter at hand, the interesting thing about this is that it may seem like Sally's actually wearing a two-piece outfit, but she might actually be wearing a three-piece outfit. You see, Sally is wearing 2 boots, but she also has this little band in her hair, and it's always consistent in her design. Maybe they don't count this because it's more of an accessory rather than actual clothing, but putting that aside, Sally would eventually wear a vest, which would make her 2-piece outfit officially a 3-piece outfit. And dare I mention, the redesign after the Super Genesis wave. Boots, shorts, a tank top, vest, gloves, and if you want to count it, bracelets. All these things combined make not 5, not 6, but a 7-piece outfit. But if you were to count the bracelets on her hands, it would turn this innocent 2 or 3-piece outfit, depending on how you want to think about it, into a devilish 9-piece outfit. So this one's either debunked right away or is eventually debunked later on. Number 4. The Sonic comic isn't pre-bagged with a die-cut gold foil cover and hologram trading card. Well, there's not really much to say about this because I can't recall a time where Archie gave out any kind of gold foil hologram trading cards of any kind, so I might as well just give him the point and move on with it. Number 3. The Sonic comic contains absolutely no cholesterol. So as far as I'm concerned, comic books don't have cholesterol, so again, nothing I can really say about this point. It's another point that I can't argue with. I mean, I'm kind of curious how the comic books on the charts have cholesterol, but I mean, Sonic is always seen eating chili dogs, and in the first issue they have a chili dog recipe, but I can't really say anything about this. I don't really know what to say. So I decided that I'll just give him 99/100ths of a point and call it a day. Number 2. Sonic's Adventures are soon to be a major motion picture starring Michael J. Fox. So it's been over 25 years and there's been no mention of a movie starring Michael J. Fox. Now there is the Sonic movie, but again, it's not starring Michael J. Fox. So there's nothing to really say here. And the number 1 reason, Sonic the Hedgehog won't be dying anytime soon, but you should still buy multiple copies. To be honest, I definitely think this point deserves to be number 1. The Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comics have lasted over 20 years and have published hundreds of issues. They even made it into the Guinness World Record book for the longest video game based comic. So I don't think there's really much of an argument that can be stated here. Good job, Archie. So it looks like even after all these years, it turns out that the majority of the points listed actually seem correct. And in my opinion, I still think that the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comics are the coolest comic book around. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. It was actually my first one and I kinda had fun with it. I'm sorry if you guys have any problem with this video, I'm still getting used to doing this. But I do plan on making more Sonic the Hedgehog content in the future, so please consider subscribing if you want to help me out in my future endeavors. But until next time, this has been Jules Prime, and I will see you all in the next video. Hopefully.